Hey friends! Picture this, a symbol carved in stone over 4,000 miles away is identical to one buried 90 feet underground on a mysterious island off the coast of Nova Scotia. Coincidence? No way. This week's jaw-dropping episode of The Curse of Oak Island, Season 12, Episode 23, might just be the moment everything changes. We're talking deep analysis, ancient codes, international connections, and a trail of symbols that's giving historians goosebumps. So buckle up. Because today, we're diving deep, not just underground, but into centuries of secrets, suspicion, and possibly sacred treasure. Let's start with a little story. Back in 1804, treasure hunters working on Oak Island unearthed what we now call the 90-foot stone. This wasn't just a rock. It had cryptic symbols carved into it, symbols that seemed to shout, "There's something buried here." And when the stone was pulled up, boom, the entire shaft flooded mysteriously with seawater. Ever since then, that stone has haunted every dig, every theory, every clue. And guess what? That very same symbol, a circle with a central dot, just showed up, in a prison wall in Gozo, Malta. The same Malta tied to the Knights Templar and the Knights of Malta. If your jaw isn't on the floor yet, keep listening. Rick Lagina and the team are chasing a theory that's been slowly building all season, that the strange symbols found across Oak Island, the 4-dot cross, the starburst button, and now this curious 6-petal flower design, may all trace back to old world European orders who crossed oceans in secret. This isn't just about buried gold anymore. It's about coded messages. It's about who hid it, and why they went to such incredible lengths to keep it hidden. Inside the ancient prison in Malta's citadel, the team is stunned to see more than just one match. Symbols etched into stone walls match others found back in Nova Scotia, especially that cryptic circle and dot motif, a dead ringer for the one carved into the legendary 90-foot stone. That stone was discovered centuries ago before underwater detection, before sonar, before archaeology made leaps. But these guys? They just connected a symbol on Oak Island to one 4,000 miles away, a connection over 800 years old. You see, there's a growing theory, one that might now be too strong to ignore, that the Knights of Malta, direct successors to the Knights Templar, were safeguarding more than just religious ideals. We're talking holy relics, the Ark of the Covenant, the menorah from Solomon's Temple, maybe even the Holy Grail itself. When the Templars were disbanded under intense persecution in the early 1300s, some didn't vanish, they moved in the shadows. Now it looks like they brought their treasures to North America long before Columbus. And just when you think it couldn't get more intense, boom! The team shifts back to Oak Island's Lot 1. This isn't just random digging. They're using a map made by legendary treasure hunter Frederick Blair from the 1800s. And on this map, boulders marked with eerie precision, each suspected to conceal shallow treasure caches. When Marty and Craig pry up one of these stones, what do they find? A ring of boulders arranged in a suspiciously deliberate circle. Not to mention, forged iron pins, fasteners, ancient timbers, and more. The question is no longer if someone was there, it's who and when. Craig Tester pulls out a hand-forged wedge. Marty finds a hook embedded in old timber. Gary Drayton, metal detection wizard, pulls out raw iron that's got serious age. This is the stuff of old ships, maybe even supply caches left behind by centuries-old explorers. Could this boulder ring be a treasure marker? A ritual space? Or maybe the entrance to yet another chamber? Either way, it's a loud message from the past: keep digging. Back in Malta, Rick meets with researcher Corjan Mole, and this is where things get truly next level. Corjan presents a bloodline. A family name, de Villiers. The same name linked to the Knights Hospitaller during the loss of Jerusalem in 1187, and again in Paris in 1307 during the collapse of the Templars. It was Gerard de Villiers who allegedly escaped Paris with a convoy of 50 horses and a cargo of priceless relics. And guess what? That family name keeps popping up in the very places the Oak Island Trail is leading. Is it possible, friend, that this family, the de Villiers, were the stewards of a treasure so important, so sacred, that they moved it from the Middle East to Europe, then across the Atlantic, hiding it in the wilds of Nova Scotia? When you stack the symbols, the maps, the relics, and now the names, it's no longer a crazy theory. It's a treasure map written in stone, waiting to be read. So here's what we know. Symbols etched on prison walls in Malta match Oak Island's oldest artifacts. A 19th century treasure map leads to a hidden boulder ring and ancient fasteners on Oak Island. A bloodline tied to the Templars is traced to locations and legends across centuries. And every dig, every discovery, points to something more than gold, a purpose, a plan, a sacred legacy protected in secret. Now here's the kicker. These symbols weren't carved in stone for no reason. If it was important enough to etch into prison walls, it was important enough to protect with your life. And if you're willing to guard something for 800 years, it's not just treasure. It's truth. So my friends, keep watching. Because the deeper this team digs, both in earth and in history, the clearer it becomes. Oak Island is holding on to secrets far older, and far more profound, than we ever imagined. But wait, let's not forget the psychological weight of what the Oak Island team is dealing with. Think about it. You've spent years chasing rumors, deciphering half-erased maps, and pulling out fragments of history from muddy holes. Then suddenly, you see carvings across the ocean that mirror your own findings. That's not just a lead, that's validation. For Rick Lagina and the team, these are not just discoveries. These are answers to decades of questions, some their own, some passed down by generations of treasure hunters. And if we're going to talk about shocking connections, let's go back to the timing. The Templar persecution began in 1307, on Friday the 13th, yes, that Friday the 13th, Gerard de Villiers, second-in-command of the Knights Templar in France, vanishes with a fleet and a treasure convoy. No records of his death. No signs of his arrival. He disappears, and yet his name echoes through Malta, France, and now Oak Island. That's not legend. That's documented history merging with physical evidence, iron fasteners, mysterious stone arrangements, and carved symbology that spans continents. Still not convinced? Here's something else. Those boulders found on Lot 1 aren't just lying there. They're placed, deliberately, geometrically, maybe even ritualistically. Some form a ring. Others point like arrows. If this were nature, we'd expect randomness. But these formations scream design. And when you dig beneath them and find fasteners, timbers, and ancient tools, that's not coincidence. That's someone saying, you're getting close. Let's zoom out for a second. Oak Island has been the subject of speculation for over 200 years. People have died chasing this mystery. Millions of dollars have been spent, entire lifetimes devoted to uncovering what lies beneath. But now, more than ever, the trail feels solid. Real names. Real bloodlines. Real materials. This isn't just speculation, it's a historical narrative finally beginning to unfold. The deeper you go into this episode, the more you realize something profound. The mystery of Oak Island isn't about pirates, or folklore, or even just treasure. It's about control. It's about preservation. It's about knowledge so powerful, whether religious, historical, or technological, that entire generations would commit to guarding it in silence. That's the real story. And this episode gave us one of the most credible links yet, tying medieval Europe directly to a tiny, obscure island off the Canadian coast. And the team? They're not done. The map has more boulders. The symbols have more meanings. The story has more layers. As they head deeper into Lot 1 and explore further connections in Malta, the bigger picture is forming. One clue at a time. One artifact at a time. And while the treasure hasn't been unearthed yet, the truths coming to light may prove even more valuable than gold. So here's the question you need to ask yourself: if secret orders, religious relics, and centuries-old bloodlines all point to Oak Island, what else is buried there? What still lies beneath the soil, waiting for history to catch up? We're closer now than ever before, and the world is watching. Stay with us, because this isn't just a dig anymore. This is a revelation in progress.